Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Healthcare Marketing Executive Podcast. Saul Marquez here, and I have a treat for you guys today. I've got the amazing Adam Robinson with us. He is the CEO of RB2B and retention.com. It is actually one of my most favorite platforms to use for our agency, but also a lot of our clients. We're going to tell you why in a second. But before we do, Adam, I want to give you a warm welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. I think this is the first healthcare podcast I've done. I mean, it's healthcare marketing. I've done a lot of marketing podcasts. And this is the first healthcare-related marketing podcast I've done.
That's awesome, Adam. Well, hey, we're honored to be your first healthcare marketing podcast. We like to bring the latest to our listeners, and you're working with the latest. But before we jump into the platform and what you guys do, tell us a little bit about you first, and then tell us about RB2B and what problem you guys are solving.
Sure. I would classify myself as a serial tech founder at this point. RB2B is my third startup that has worked, and I've had a lot more that have not. And I have two young kids. I was living in Austin, Texas until about 4 days ago. Moved to Aspen, Colorado.
Congratulations, man.
40 employees. Our business is remote, and decided I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. Decided I wanted to raise them skiing and camping and going on hikes and stuff. Here I sit in this house. I have an office too, but it's not going to be done until tomorrow.
All right, man. Congratulations on the move.
Thanks.
And are your kids skiing already, or?
My 3-year-old had her first ski lesson yesterday. Awesome. The same day my son not only took his first step, but started running.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He's taking a really long time. He's like 15 months old. So we're actually going to take them both. We're going to go get him a bunch of gear and take him over to the Bunny Hill this weekend at Snowmass and just put
Dude,
him,
I love that for you, man. So yesterday was a big day at the Robinson house, man.
It really was. Strangely, even though we rented a furnished house here and we kind of only brought the toys and clothes and cribs and stuff like that, it was still it's just a lot of moving parts to move your family over the holidays at the same time. My wife's 40th birthday was on December 12th. So we just had a ton of stuff going on. And yesterday was the first day where things felt normal. I don't know how to describe it, but I was at my desk. I had a little bit of free time. I actually wrote a LinkedIn post that wasn't rushed trying to get way ahead because I was going to be gone for 2 weeks. So yeah, but at the same time, dropped our kid off at ski school, skied for an hour and a half with my wife, just kind of carving groomers, and then had a normal work day. So I was, this whole time I'm I can't believe that I'm not on vacation. You know what I memean? So,
I do know what you mean.
It just seems crazy that this is what it is now. It certainly comes at a price, but this is what I want to spend the money on that I would have otherwise died with.
You know what, man? Amen to that. And I'm a huge proponent of designing the life you want to live. You start with design so that you're not reactive, and you're doing that. I'll share with you in a nutshell, we did a big move like that. So we're back in San Diego. We're based in San Diego again.
Yeah.
But we actually moved to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And we were living on the island. We were doing the tax thing.
Yeah.
After 2 years there, realized that's not what we wanted.
Yeah.
And we came back here. It was tough. But then that moment where you settle in, that's key. I got an 8-year-old. We're back in our groove here. We've been back for about 7 months, and we design our life and we optimize for happiness, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's we're on the same page. See how I feel about this place after a couple of years. I mean, we've spent a time here already, so I think I have a pretty good idea of what we're getting into. The one wild card is, can we find those 5 couple friends with kids that are just we had that in Austin, just unbelievably high quality friends.
Yeah.
So it takes work, but that's the wild.
It does. I have a friend that actually splits his time between Aspen and New York. So I'll have to intro you to Jonathan.
Love to meet him.
Yeah. All right, man. Super cool to learn more about you and talk passions. Talk to us about RB2B. What are you guys doing?
So RB2B, if you have never heard of RB2B, is magic. So someone can hit your website. They cannot take any action. They don't fill out a form. They just leave. We look at persistent identifiers in the ad tech world, and we triangulate that to an individual and personally identifiable information that you can market to and be compliant. Those are a bunch of words that seem like it's impossible, right? But the reality is, in the USA, this is a compliant practice so long as you are disclosing properly in your terms of service and everything, which I would imagine most healthcare companies are already doing the requisite things around cookies that cover this. That's kind of all it is. But yeah, that's what it does. And really what it is, it's like not exactly a lead. It's just an amazing signal.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's the best signal.
Yeah.
It's not as good as a form fill, but there's nothing as good as a website visitor that's been de-anonymized other than a form fill. So you can combine it with a bunch of other things. And, let's say somebody downloaded some kind of an ebook. If 2 people from that company visit your website and you know that, then it's like, okay, every ounce of outbound strength that I have is going towards this account. That's like, to manage expectations, that's the most successful use case. Where I think people fall short using the product is they hear what it does, and the intrinsic promise of it is I'm going to be able to spam my website visitors and book demos while I sleep, which is not exactly what it is. That would be truly magic. Unfortunately, that's not how marketing works in most cases.
Yeah, for sure. And so I remember hearing about you guys, I don't know, it must have been like a year and a half ago. It was on an ABM podcast. I forget the guy's name. I'll link it up. I'll go back to the podcast and I'll link it up because it was a really good one. And the guy on that podcast had mentioned that he used RB2B. And I'm like, what is this thing? So I go and I pick it up and I'm like, holy smokes, for real. You just install this cookie in the header of your website. It's a script. You install this script at the header of your website, and literally instantly you're getting information on your website visitors, a link to their LinkedIn, company demographics, and literally like available to you without them having to take any action. To what Adam said, I do want to emphasize this is not a lead. You don't qualify this as an MQL. Maybe they fit your persona and your ICP categories, and you could take next steps from that. But it is not a lead. So Adam, I'm glad you went there. The whole game is changing. And so today, with the use of answer engine optimization, chatbots, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, you pick your engine of choice. Website volume traffic has gone down significantly. I feel like the signal to noise has been like reduced. You get more signal, more qualified buyers are showing up. Talk to us about how the technology layers in with this new reality of answer engine optimization.
The argument, and I agree with this, the argument is like, as search shifts to AI answer engines, as you're referring to, the direct traffic to your site is going to be higher intent, which would make anything related to capturing those people more valuable in that world. I agree with that as well. That's something that we can just sort of sit back and let happen. But there are 2 sides to it. It's better to have more traffic. But I agree with you that while traffic is shrinking, what does end up getting to your site in this new world is higher intent.
Adam, with that in mind, talk to us about some workflows that you're seeing people use with the platform that you find are working really well.
Okay, so our product has 2 different types of identity. One is, if we can do this whole cookie meshing thing we're talking about, we'll get the person. The other is through, and this is getting pretty technical, through a tactic called reverse IP lookup. We can look at the IP address, and if it's a corporate IP, we can tell who the company is, but the individual stays anonymous with that part of it. And it's kind of like half and half. We will return companies with anonymous visitors and actual people. This is a little bit counterintuitive, but the most successful RB2B users, regardless of whether it's the company or the person that we're providing them, they use that account level or company level signal as the intent signal. What do I mean? If somebody who is the lawyer of one of my prospects hits my site, I don't start reaching out to the lawyer, but I use that account level signal as the intent signal, because if a lawyer from whoever co is investigating RB2B, that's because their marketers want to buy it, right? So the most successful people, thing number 1 is like the account level signal is really the signal. And then, you end up reaching out to the buyer persona within that account that you sell to, or the buyer group, right?
It's a good distinction.
The other thing is our most successful users use it as like kind of a lead scoring mechanism along with other ways they score leads. It has more weight than anything else that they score leads with, but it's still a lead scoring thing. Like I said before, it's not just like one website visit from a cold account that has done nothing else. And like we stop our entire outbound operation and we say outbound this one person. That's not it, right? Like a first time visit might put them into some kind of light workflow, like some automated email or something like that. Like once a person hits 2 and 3 times and like other people at the account start browsing around and like if the pages they're looking at are super high intent, then it's like, okay, let's come up with a very strategic way to get into this account, right? If the ACV is high enough, it's like, let's go to their office. You know what I mean? It's like whatever we need to do, right? So that has been my observation. It's like the account level signal is the actual signal. It's not the individual. Outreach goes to people who are in your buyer persona based on that signal. And then it is lead scoring. And the more visits you get across the account, the higher it's like the intensity of your outreach and focus should increase with those visits. Every salesperson I've ever talked to has, their biggest thing is like, I just want to know who to focus on. Right. So like one website visit from a cold account is not a great person to focus on. A bunch of visits from someone you have in the pipeline is an incredible signal for you. So yeah.
I like that. No, that's great, man. That's a great way to think about the tool. Number one, to be realistic. Number two, to properly invest your time. Hey, look, I mean, what's been the driving force for you as an entrepreneur for all the companies you've created, Adam?
I just like the craft of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Specifically in tech, the process of seeing a hole in the market, validating that hole in the market, building something, throwing it out there, seeing it either gain traction or not. And then for years and decades, actually being able to do whatever I want with my life as a result of that. And then having enough resources to sort of like do as much or as little of that as I want it just seems like the best deal in the world. I'm not really wired to like send humanoid robots to Mars, which by the way, Elon is doing in like 8 months. I just can't even, I was watching this SpaceX update from May of last year. It's like science fiction, but they're actually doing this stuff. Like he's going to send these humanoid robots to Mars to like mess around for 2 years until they send people. And he actually thinks he's like, we may do 2 humanoid sends and then people, but like they're going to have people on Mars within 4 years. So like, I'm not really wired like that. Like it's much more for me, like
earthly
kids and providing these experiences and just the energy that it gives my family life and my family gives energy to this. And like, it's just a beautiful situation. So that whole package is kind of like the driving force behind it.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, look, man, we're here at the end. I appreciate what you're doing for marketers out there. We like to close the show with asking a question that previous marketer had asked and then letting you ask a question for our next person to answer. So the question that I have here is, with so many CRMs and lead scoring systems, how do you choose the best one? It's almost like I planned that, but I didn't.
Yeah. I think this is just my view. I always think which tool you use is overvalued and the person that's using the tool is radically undervalued. So whoever asked that, I would say, hire the right person and it won't matter.
Amen. Well said. I appreciate that, man. What question do you want to ask our future guest?
The next marketer, I want to ask, okay, in a world where it seems as though we're just losing pipeline channels left and right, it seems like SEO, I mean, people are making a big deal about this AI SEO or whatever, but it would seem like we're losing that or have lost it. It would seem like cold email has gotten so difficult that it only works for a certain subset of businesses. And then ads are ads. Some people can get ads to work, some people can't. What am I supposed to do? What's my next 5 years marketing plan?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Folks, there you have it. What would you do? What would you do? Share your thoughts. As you guys know, we share our episodes on LinkedIn, as well as post them on our website and all of the podcast channels where you enjoy your podcasts. We want to hear from you. But for now, we want to thank you for tuning in. And Adam Robinson, CEO of RB2B, retention.com. thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, thanks a lot, Saul.